So we begin with our today's session. What are we going to study today? We will have an introduction to microcontroller, right? And then we will see 8051 microcontroller and what all microcontrollers are present under MCS 51 family. MCS stands for microcomputer systems. So this is our today's session content. So in last lecture we had seen what is an embedded system, right? We had seen that embedded system is a device which does a dedicated functionality, and a few examples also we had stated. Where does microcontroller come into picture? Microcontroller is the major hardware component of these embedded systems. Is that okay? Microcontroller is the controlling or the major or the main component of any embedded system, right? Now, a system, when you say what is a system? System mean a device which will have few inputs, few outputs, and some computation facility inside it, right? And who does this computation facility? It is the microcontroller. Is that fine? So that's the meaning of system. And that's how microcontroller is associated. And then what is the name of, what is the meaning of embedded? Embedded has two meanings actually. One of the meaning of embedded is many components brought together in one. That is called embedded. And the other meaning of embedded is that computational facility is hidden from the user. That computational facility is somewhere inside the device and the user is not aware about. And hence the name embedded. Do you get me? Right? So embedded systems are those devices who do a single functionality. What is a system? It has few input, output, and a computation facility. Who does this computation facility? It is the microcontroller. And why it is called as embedded? Because that functionality, computation facility is hidden from the user. It is present somewhere inside the device. Is that okay? Hence the name embedded system. Now we'll see into few applications or examples of embedded systems. If you look into home appliances, yes, automatic washing machine, microwave oven, air conditioners, MP3 players, your television sets, remote control, and so on. Home appliances, home security system, right? Water level indicator. All of these perform a dedicated function. Washing machine, washing clothes. MP3 player, listening to a music. Oven, cooking purpose. So they are doing a single functionality, right? Office appliances, what all embedded systems you all have? Printer, fax machine, Xerox machine, your EPABX machine, security system in the campus, right? All these are called embedded system devices, right? Now you would say even your personal computer, your desktop is also an electronic device, correct? Right? What did we say? All electronic devices that surrounding you come under embedded systems. But your desktop, your PCs are not called as embedded systems because your PC is going to do multiple functions. You can watch a video, becomes like a television. You can use it as a music player. You can write a software. You can run simulation. You can use it as a typewriter, typing the documents. Correct. So your desktop or your personal computers are not called as embedded systems. They are called as general purpose systems. Correct. And as well as your mobile phones. Earlier, your mobile phones were meant only for making a call and receiving a call. Then it was an embedded system. But nowadays, your mobile also performs so many functionalities. So now your mobile has also become a general purpose system. Is that okay? So just please be clear with this. Your PCs and your mobile phones are considered as general purpose systems. Okay. Next, embedded systems used in industry, your fire detection system, security system, process control system, and so on, line follower robots, and so on. All these come under industrial appliances. What all medical embedded systems? ECG machine, MRI, CT scanner, X-ray machine, blood sugar measuring, or the simplest one, your digital thermometer. All these are called as embedded systems, right? Related to defense, it is radar system, rocket launcher system, autonomous vehicles, and so on. Into automobile field, nowadays your automobile field, 50% of the automobile field is electronics. There is such a lot of automation in automobile sector, right? So your automobile, wherever there is that word automation, something is happening automatically. There you will find microcontroller inside. It is that microcontroller who is doing things automatically. Correct? So into your automobile sector, airbag system, anti-braking system, security, that is theft control system, transmission control system, fuel injection control system, and so on, right? So all these are the examples of an embedded system, correct? Now, in general, when I say what should be inside an embedded system, right? What should be there in the embedded system? It should have few inputs. It should have few outputs. It should have a memory to store the program. What is a program? The functionality the device performs is because of that program. And to store that program, we need a memory. Correct? Next, to do the computations inside, to do the computations on that incoming data, I need a central processing unit. Or to run the program, I need a central processing unit. Is that okay? So all these should be the components of a general embedded system. Hence it is written as a generic embedded system has few inputs, few outputs, memory to store the program, and a central processing unit to do computations on incoming data as well as to run the program so as to perform a dedicated functionality. So this is a general embedded system. Fine. Components of general embedded system. Now, if this embedded system is to be designed using a microprocessor, you all have studied microprocessor 8086 earlier, correct? So if I wanted to design an embedded system using 8086, see what I would have required. So microprocessor is the CPU. So the CPU itself is 8086 microprocessor, a 40-pin IC. To do some counting operations or to keep track of time, I need a timer 8253 or 8254 IC, a second 40-pin chip. To connect input and output to the system, I need IO port, and that is available with 8155 or 8255 programmable peripheral interface chip. The third 40-pin chip, serial interface. Now many of the times you might not need a serial interface, but whenever from one embedded system the communication is with another embedded system, we go for serial interface, right? So this is not always needed, but in case if it is needed, I need another IC 8251, which is the fourth 40-pin IC. And to store the program, I need a ROM memory. And for intermediate calculations, I need a read-write memory, or temporary data storage, we need a read-write memory. So depending on the size of the memory chips can be 28-pin, 32-pin, and so on. So if I wanted to design a microprocessor-based system, I would have required 6 ICs. 6 different ICs, 4 40-pin and the other 2 either 32-pin or 28-pin. And all these 6 ICs I should have mounted on the PCB. And there should be communication between all these ICs. So I need address bus, I need a data bus, I need a control bus. Control bus is the read signal, write signal, whether the read is from memory or from an input device. So these are called as control signals. So there should be a communication between all the 6 devices. So I need address lines, data lines, and control lines, and all together that is called as a system bus. So I have to have those PCB tracks. I have to do those connections manually. Look into a large PCB area required, 6 ICs. And say for example, I was designing LED blinking. Just one LED blinking at some rate, 1 second or 2 seconds. Even to design that LED blinking, I will require 8086 microprocessor. I might, okay, forget about timer. I will use a delay program. So one microprocessor, IO port, ROM memory, RAM memory. Minimum these 4 chips are required to just do an LED blinking. And that is a bad idea. Correct? A lot of PCB occupied. More the PCB, more the hardware, costly the system, just for one LED blink. So designing embedded systems using microprocessor is not a good idea. Right? There comes your microcontroller. Now, that central processing unit, ROM memory, read-only memory, read-write memory, serial interface circuitry, timer circuitry, and IO port circuitry. All these 6 components are present on a single chip. Inside that single chip, and that single chip is called as a microcontroller. It is this microcontroller which will control the functionality of your embedded system. So initially your embedded system required 6 chips to do LED blinking. Now if I want to design an LED blinking, I just need one single microcontroller, one LED, and of course power supply has to be there. Right? So look into, if I want to design that LED blinking embedded system, one 40-pin chip and one LED, and the design is done. Look into the PCB area required, just as the size of that 40-pin microcontroller. Right? So that's a microcontroller. All your central processing unit, there is some RAM memory, ROM memory. There are few peripherals. Peripheral mean serial circuit, timer circuit, and IO circuit inside that chip. Is that okay? So from this, you would easily understand what's the advantage of having a microcontroller. Smaller the PCB area mean compact is your embedded system. Your device is very, very small. Correct? As compared to microprocessor based system. Less hardware, cheaper is the device. Is that okay? Right? And the next, all these interconnections in microprocessor are done on the PCB. Instead, for a microcontroller, all these interconnections are present inside the chip. Is that okay? So, smaller the track area, faster the device. Fine. So the next we will see the difference between microprocessor and microcontroller. Now, you might have just got an idea. We just saw 1 or 2 difference points. So we will see it again. So when I say microcontroller, what is the first point that should come in your mind? It has a central processing unit, memory, the peripheral circuit, timer, serial interface, and port circuitry, as well as interrupt circuitry on chip, inside that 40-pin chip. Whereas microprocessor, what does it have inside the chip? It's only the central processing unit on chip. Correct? So microcontroller, I can, if I want to do LED blinking, one microcontroller and one LED, the embedded system is done. Microcontroller is also called as a system on chip. Whereas microprocessor, it is one of the component of an embedded system. Right? Third point, microcontroller is the main component of an embedded system. Right? Whereas microprocessor is the main component of a general purpose system. Which is a general purpose system? Your desktops, your PCs, your mobile phones. Correct? They are designed using microprocessors. In your mobile phones, you all have that Cortex M3. What is Cortex M3? It is a processor. Is that okay? So microprocessor is main component of a general purpose system. Microcontroller is the main component of an embedded system. The next point, since the memory and the peripheral circuitry is present on chip, hence the systems are faster. Microcontroller itself is faster. Whereas in microprocessor based system, your memory is a separate chip, your 8255 is a separate chip, your timer is a separate chip, and to communicate between them, you need to have those PCB tracks. You can see those PCB tracks, means they are longer. Mean there will be a time taken by the signal to flow through those tracks. Hence, your microprocessor based systems are slower. Next. Now, since all these are on chip, memory, peripheral, that is timer, serial, it is present on chip, your microcontroller based systems are smaller in size, compact. Lesser the hardware, lower the cost. Correct? And since all the communications are inside the chip, they dissipate less power. Time taken by the signal to flow, if it is longer, mean there will be more power dissipation. Right? So since the things are inside the chip, they dissipate less power. And you need not do the connections. Are you getting me? The connections are already done inside. So it's a reliable. Whereas in microprocessor based system, you need to connect address bus, data bus, control signals to all these devices. In case if there is a open circuit or a short circuit or some misconnection, there are high chances of the system failure. Is that okay? So your microprocessor based system dissipate more power, are costly, and are not reliable. Whereas microcontroller based system, compact, dissipate less power, and are reliable. Correct? Once you say it dissipates less power, mean it has a longer battery life. More the power, smaller is the battery life. Is that okay? And majority of the embedded systems are standalone, mean they are battery operated devices. So power dissipation is one of the major factor. Right? So microcontroller based systems, low power, hence more battery life. Next, that is one good facility in microcontrollers. There is a power saving facility in almost all the microcontrollers, whereas that is not present in microprocessor. Is that okay? So in microcontrollers, there is one register called as PCON, Power Control Register. And using this register, we can put microcontroller in either idle mode or sleep mode. And what are these? In these modes, microcontroller does not perform any functionality. No function, no data flow, no power dissipation. Correct? So this power saving facility is available in microcontrollers, whereas it is not available in microprocessors. Hope you all are understanding, right? And another important point, program code protection is available in microcontrollers, whereas this facility is not there in processors. In microprocessors, in fact, there is no on-chip memory. Correct? You need to connect an external memory chip in microprocessors. Okay? So in microcontrollers, program code protection is available. What does that mean? Whatever program you write, you can lock that program so that anyone else may not be able to change your program. Right? So that is called program code protection. Only reading is present. No one can write or change the code. That is called program code protection. Is that okay? Okay, so we saw the difference between a microprocessor and a microcontroller. In all respect, microcontroller is better than microprocessor. Cost wise, low power, the system is robust and compact, small in size. So the next, here you see the picture of 40 pin 8051 microcontroller, which is there in our syllabus. This is what we will be studying. So this is a 40 pin 8051 microcontroller. Inside this chip, you will have a central processing unit, RAM memory, ROM memory, serial interface, interrupts, timers, and input-output port circuitry, all sitting inside this small chip. And this is the one which will control the operations of the system. The program will be stored inside this chip, right? And hence this is also called as a system on chip, correct? Now, the first microcontroller designed and manufactured was by Intel. I had said this in the last session also. Intel is the company who designs microprocessors and microcontrollers. The first microprocessor was also by Intel, and the first microcontroller was also by Intel. Right? We said in case of microprocessor, Intel first microprocessor was 4004, and it was used in designing calculator. So Intel's first microprocessor 4004, a 4-bit microprocessor. Then it came with 8008, then 8085, and then 8086. And 8086 is what you studied in the last semester. 8086, a 16-bit microprocessor, right? Similarly, the first microcontroller designed by Intel was MCS48. MCS48. And it was used in IBM PC keyboards. Right? Even in your keyboards, you have a microcontroller. Mouse, you have a microcontroller. USB, there is a microcontroller inside. Right? So the first microcontroller, MCS48, and it was used in keyboard, IBM PC keyboard. The second microcontroller it designed was in 1980, and that was this MCS51. A little modification in the previous, they came up with MCS51 microcontroller. This itself is the 8051 microcontroller. Fine. Now, what is MCS? MCS stands for microcomputer system. Now, by now, you should understand what does system mean. This chip can take inputs, produce an output, and there is a computing facility inside, sitting inside system, correct? And it is like a small computer, a very, very small computer, you can say. Hence the name microcomputer system. Is that okay? And it was designed by Intel. Now there are actually many other companies who manufacture microcontrollers, but what did they do? The other companies took the core of that Intel microcontroller. Core mean the CPU part. CPU will have instruction decoding unit, instruction register, ALU inside. So the rest other companies took that CPU, took that core, and started manufacturing their own microcontrollers. What did they do? They just changed the size of the memory. They added the peripheral circuitry and came up with their own microcontrollers. Right? But the CPU part, the core part, was from Intel. Hence, let the microcontroller be designed by any manufacturing company. It has the same instruction set. The same program can run on 8051 microcontroller designed by any company. Hope you all are getting this. Correct? So I have mentioned here few of microcontroller manufacturing companies. I have just mentioned a few. These are the giants in electronics, right? Semiconductor companies these are, and they are really renowned. Smaller companies, there are many, right? So few of them I have mentioned: Intel, Atmel, ST Microelectronics, Philips, which is also called as NXP Semiconductor nowadays, Infineon, Maxim, Microchip, Texas Instruments, Silicon Labs, AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, Fujitsu, Zilog, Freescale, AD, Analog Devices, Cypress Semiconductor, Infineon, Motorola, Siemens. These are the giant semiconductor companies, electronic companies, right, who manufacture microcontrollers. Not only 8051, they have their own microcontrollers also. And there are many other smaller companies manufacturing microcontrollers. So now we say 8051. Every digit in that name indicates something. Fine, we'll see this, that is called nomenclature. Every digit gives some indication. 8, it stands for 8-bit microcontroller. Fine. Again, what does that mean? 8-bit microcontroller mean it takes in 8-bit data, does computations on that 8-bit data, and gives out an 8-bit data. Fine. Hence the name, hence the digit 8. 8051, 8-bit microcontroller. And the other 3 digits, see, I have done a tabular format here. 8 for 8-bit controller, and I have mentioned XYZ. Let us see the digit Z, that is the rightmost digit. That Z can be either digit 1, 2, or 4. 8051, 8052, 8054. And what does that indicate? 1, 2, 4 indicate the size of on-chip program memory, data memory, and the timer counters inside. Program memory is where your program is written, your code is written. Data memory, intermediate data storage. It is helping the program memory to run the program. And timer counter is one peripheral doing some counting operation. So the last digits 1, 2, 4 indicate what is the size of program memory, that is ROM, data memory, that is read-write memory, RAM, and the timer counter. So 1 indicates 4 KB program memory. K stands for kilo, and that indicates 3 zeros. 4000. 4K indicates 4000, and B indicates byte, 8-bit. So there are 4000 memory locations, and in each memory location we can store 8-bit information. Okay. Next, 128 byte RAM mean there are 128 memory locations, and in each memory location we can store 8-bit data. So program memory is 4000 byte and data memory is 128 byte. And the timer counter, there are 2 timer counter circuitry inside. So there are 2 circuits which can perform the counting operation. I hope you all are getting this. Next, digit 2 indicates 8 KB ROM, 256 byte RAM, 3 timer counters. 4 indicates 16 KB ROM, 256 byte RAM, and 3 timer counters. So your rightmost digit is telling you the size of RAM, ROM, timers inside the chip. Fine, everyone. Next, the second digit can be either 3 or 5. Mean your controller is 8031, 8051, 8032, 8052. So 3 indicates there is no program memory inside the chip. Right? So there is no memory to store your program. You in such case, you need to connect an external ROM to your microcontroller. What digit? 3, 8031. Whereas 5 indicates there is program memory inside the microcontroller. Next, the third digit X. X can be 0, 7, and 9. This gives information about the program memory. How is your program memory? Is it reprogrammable or not? So 0 indicates the program memory is one-time programmable, PROM. PROM stands for programmable ROM. One-time programmable, later you cannot do any changes. No changes. So 0 indicates the program memory is PROM, one-time programmable, right? So what is that one-time programmable? Usually when the chip is getting manufactured, at the same time the program is written inside it, right? For example, washing machine. If I am going to design washing machines, the program is fixed. The user should not be able to change it. So when the chip is getting manufactured, at the same instance, the program is written in the program memory. So the digit 0 indicates one-time programmable ROM. 7 indicates it is EEPROM, erasable programmable read-only memory, right? So the erasing and programming is done with the help of ultraviolet light. I need an ultraviolet light programmer and I need an ultraviolet light eraser, UV programmer and UV eraser, and that is indicated by the digit 7. The program memory is of what type? EEPROM, right? But UV light erasing and programming is a very, very slow process, right? So generally we don't use UV light erasers and programmers. And the digit 9 indicates the program memory is of flash type. Flash is E2PROM, electrically erasable and programmable. Your flash memory is electrically erasable and programmable. So it is similar to E2PROM. But what is the difference between E2PROM and flash? Flash is 128 byte. A block of data can be erased and programmed. Whereas E2PROM, a bit by bit is erased and programmed. It is electrically erasable, but it is bit by bit. Whereas in flash, it is block-wise erasing, block-wise programming. 256 bytes erased at a time. That is called flash. So by now, if the numbering, you have a microcontroller with a certain number, you should be able to recognize what each digit indicates in it. 8051 means what? 8751 means what? 8031 means what? Fine. So whenever you all do your mini projects, I would suggest you should use a reprogrammable microcontroller. Okay. And a reprogrammable microcontroller mean the digit should be 9. There should be on-chip memory in it. So the digit should be 5. Right. And 1, 2, 4, anything you choose, depending on the size of your program. So you should be using 8951 or 8952 or 8954. Is that okay? Use that reprogrammable chip in your mini projects. So that was about the numbering 8051. Now we will take an overview of MCS51 microcontrollers. What all microcontrollers have the same CPU inside it? The CPU is the same. What changes? It is the peripheral circuit. What peripheral circuit? How much is ROM? How much is RAM? How many timers? And so on. Right? I'm saying that as a peripheral because they are helping CPU to do something. Hence the name peripheral. So all the microcontrollers listed have the same CPU. Hence they come under MCS51 family. So look into the table, right? At the rightmost, all these microcontrollers have one serial interface circuitry inside. Correct? There is one serial interface circuitry. All these microcontrollers are 40-pin ICs. All these microcontrollers have 32 input-output lines. Input-output line mean we can connect either input devices or output devices, and how many? 32 in number. So if I say I'm connecting an LED, what is an LED? An LED is a 1-bit output device. Correct? It means I can connect 32 LEDs to this microcontroller. Fine. If you say one key, a key is 1-bit input device. Mean I can connect 32 keys to this microcontroller. Or I can make a combination of keys and LEDs. But then how many? 32 in number. I can have 32 inputs, 32 outputs, or any combination of input output. Correct? So there is a single serial interface. All these are 40-pin ICs, and there are 32 input and output lines to all these microcontrollers. So let us take a look at the first two. The first you should see is that digit 3. 3 means 8031, 8032. 3 means there is no program memory on chip. Not provided. There is no program memory inside. You need to connect an external program memory to 8031, 8032. Is that fine? That 3 should indicate immediately. I need an external ROM memory connected to 8031, 8032. Fine. Not provided inside. And digit 1 indicates 128 byte RAM, 2 timers. 2 indicates 256 byte RAM, 3 timers. Okay. Look at the next 3, 8051, 8052, 8054. What should you notice? The digit 5. 5 indicates there is on-chip program memory. Correct? There is on-chip program memory, but the digit 0 indicates one-time programmable. Fine. And 1 indicates 4 KB ROM, 128 byte RAM, 2 timers. 2 indicates 8 KB ROM, 256 byte RAM, 3 timers. 4, 16 KB rest is same. So 8051, 8052, 8054, 5 indicates there is on-chip memory. 0 indicates one-time programmable. And 1 to 4 you all know by now. Look at the last 3. Where is the difference? There is a digit 7. 7 indicates it is a reprogrammable memory inside. But how? UV, erasable and programmable. Right? There should be P, E, P, R, O, M. All these are 7 indicates UV light, eraser and programmable. The rest is same as above. Fine. Look into the next two. 89C51, 89C52, 89C51. So where is the difference? The digit 9. 9 indicates the program memory is flash, electrically erasable and programmable. That is indicated by the digit 9. 5 on-chip memory present. And see, there is a letter called C. C indicates internally whatever the circuitry is, that is made up of CMOS devices. CMOS, complementary metal oxide semiconductor. And what is that speciality about CMOS? CMOS are low power devices. Correct? Hence, that is one of the reason your microcontrollers are low power devices. The internal circuitry is made up of CMOS. The letter C. Hope you all are getting this. Okay. And now let us look at the last 3 numbers. 89C, 1051, 2051, 4051. They are same as the above, but 20 pin, half the size, or very, very smaller in size, 20 pin chip. Correct? And what is the speciality of these, the last 3 microcontrollers? They have an analog comparator inside the chip. Analog comparator mean they are going to take some analog signal, compare with another and give an output. So there is an analog comparator on chip. Now we say your microcontrollers are digital devices. How is the circuitry inside? It is digital circuitry. But the last 3 microcontrollers have one analog circuitry also inside. No doubt it is a digital controller, but this analog circuitry is also sitting inside. It's called as a mixed signal device. That is the speciality of 1051, 2051 and 4051. Is that okay? So that was an overview of your MCS51 family microcontrollers. Right? MCS51 means the CPU is same in all the devices, all these microcontrollers. Where is the difference? It's the difference between the peripheral circuitry. Everyone, bye. Thank you. And let us meet in the next session.